Hesperaloe is a genus related to yucca, and Hesperaloe has a long history of use in the southwest United States because these plants are tough. This one is a cultivar called Sandia Glow, which is extra red. The original plant is more of a pinkish red, and lately a lot of hybridizing has been done to bring out different colors, and so this one, Sandia Glow, is a marvelous red color. But these plants can take it down to 0, so they're really tough plants, and you see them used in Arizona and New Mexico and West Texas, as well as here in California. We're very pleased with the way that Sandia Glow has done in the Bancroft Garden. Trichostema is in the mint family and well known in California for the plant woolly blue curls, Trichostema lanatum, which is a prominent California native. But this one is a hybrid. It's called Midnight Magic, and it has these beautiful purple flowers over a very long period of time in the summertime. Plants in the hibiscus family are found all over the world, and this particular one, Pavonia missionum, comes from South America in Uruguay, Paraguay, and Brazil. It's got beautiful orangey red flowers and a long blooming season, and it's already been in bloom for a couple of months and still going strong, and we're very pleased with the way it's done. We haven't had it in the garden before about a year ago when we planted this one. This tree is another member of the hibiscus family. It was formerly placed in the family Bombaceae, the bombax family, but that family has now been united into the hibiscus family, or Malvaceae. And that makes sense because the flower structure is very similar between the two. This is an Australian tree, and it's actually a hybrid between two species. Brachychiton discolor with pink flowers and Brachychiton acerifolius with red flowers. This year it has flowered so much more than ever before, we can't believe it. It's been on what's in bloom now for this is the 3rd month, and still going strong. I was eating lunch out here the other day and looking at the tree, and I saw the flowers falling, and I realized at the rate they were falling, there were many hundreds of flowers falling in one day, and I thought, well, that's surely going to run out of flowers, but it keeps on making more and making more and making more to an extraordinary extent, so we're very happy about that. We have lots of agaves here at the Ruth Bancroft Garden, and this one is called Agave weberi. It comes from South Texas and southward into northeastern Mexico. It looks a little bit like Agave americana, the common century plant, but it has very small teeth on the edge, or sometimes none at all. And sometimes when these agaves flower, they put everything into the flower. Sometimes they die right away, sometimes they take their time. Well, this one hasn't even finished flowering yet, and already the leaves are all going by. So this is one of those ones that already knows what it's going to do, and it's doing it. But up above, you can see that the flowers are still going strong, working their way up. There are lots of ornamental grasses from all over the world. This one is a native of Western North America. It's called Bouteloua gracilis. The cultivar is Blonde Ambition, and we just are really impressed by these wonderful little inflorescences. They're like little hockey sticks with a brush-like flower at the end, and you can see the difference between the greener color of the new flowers and the more golden color of the older flowers, making a nice contrast. This plant is named Dasylirion wheeleri. The Spanish word for it is sotol, and it's native to the southwest United States and northwestern Mexico. And these Dasylirions have separate male and female plants. This one is a female, and we can tell by looking at the flowers. So the male flowers are straw-colored and don't last very long. The females turn green as the seeds are developing, as you see here on this stalk, and they last for quite a long time. Very attractive plants, clumping plants, and very cold tolerant too. We often associate aloes with winter flowers, because many of them do flower spectacularly in the wintertime when other things aren't flowering, and we value them for that, but there is no month that doesn't have some aloe that flowers. And this one here is Aloe reitzii from northeastern South Africa, and it flowers in the late summer to early fall. So that's now. And the flowers change color a bit as they open, so they're darker in the bud stage and then yellow as they open. Really a wonderful bright spike of flowers, which we always look forward to at this time of the year. Senecio is a very large genus in the daisy family. Some of them are succulent and some not. This one certainly is a succulent one. This is Senecio ficoides and a cultivar called Skyscraper, and you can see how tall it grows. The flower might not strike you as daisy-like, but the daisy family is characterized by having flowers that are in a tight cluster with a little ring of bracts around them, like in a little cup. And in many daisies, the outside flowers in the cup each are stretched out on one side so that the whole group looks like one flower. That's your classic Marguerite daisy look. These ones don't have those outside ring of flowers, and so it doesn't really look daisy-like to us, but it certainly is in the daisy family. Among the many aloes from South Africa is this one, which is Aloe karasbergensis. Actually, it grows in Namibia and in South Africa. It's related to Aloe striata, but it has a more pale bluish stripy leaf and lacks the red-orange margin that you see on Aloe striata. This one is kind of between blooms. You can see the seed pods where it has bloomed before and the buds that aren't open yet, but there's actually no open flowers on it at the moment. Probably it's taking a rest because we haven't had much sun with all the smoke from the fires lately. But this is a very drought-tolerant aloe. It grows in very dry places, sometimes even less than 5 inches of rain a year. This bush from Mexico with the bright red flowers is commonly called the firecracker bush. I think you can see why looking at the flowers. Its botanical name is Russelia equisetiformis. And we are just so happy with the way it just blooms and blooms and blooms over the summer months with these bright red flowers, and it attracts hummingbirds. Erythrinax is a member of the pea family, and the genus has a very wide distribution around the world. And this one here is a hybrid. So one of the parents comes from North America and the other from South America. The common name for the Erythrinax is coral tree, and many of them are indeed trees, but this one is a bush. And we actually cut it all the way down to the ground every wintertime, and it grows right back again and makes a floral display all summer long every year. So now you can see that there are some stalks from flowers that have gone by and others that are in flower now. It just has a succession of flowers all during the summer. This aloe is a hybrid that I made, and Aloe buhrii was the starting point, and from there I crossed it and recrossed it. It has the yellow flowers of Aloe buhrii, but instead of blooming in the springtime like buhrii does, this one repeat blooms. So this is probably the third round of flowers that it's had this year. And that is a very nice feature because it gets to be on What's in Bloom more than once. Prickly pear fruits are very common in Mexico, not quite so common in the United States, but you do see them in markets, especially in places where there are lots of people from Mexico. And there is more than one color of Opuntia fruits. They could be red, they could be orange, they could be yellow, depending on the kind. This one is Opuntia ficus-indica, which is the most commonly cultivated for its fruits. And they actually, even this species comes in various colors. This is a red one, but we have an orange one as well. The inside of the fruit is a bright magenta color and delicious and sweet, and it can be used to make drinks as well as eaten as a fruit directly. It's worth noting that the outside of the fruit has little teeny tiny spines called glaucids on it, and these detach easily and get stuck in your skin and are difficult to remove. So you really don't want to pick the fruit right off the plant and eat it. In the market, they have been despined, and that is the way to go. Barrel cactus are kind of an iconic group of cacti from the deserts of Mexico and the US Southwest. This particular one here is Phaerocactus pottsii from northwestern Mexico. And we really put it on What's in Bloom because of the showy yellow fruits, which last a long time. but it's really surprised us by having a second round of flowering. You can see the flowers haven't opened yet, but they are on the way to opening, and this is the first time it's ever flowered in September, so we're quite surprised about that. A very attractive plant and has been in the garden for many years. So this is another prickly pear. This one's called Opuntia robusta from central Mexico, with very bluish pads and reddish purple rounded fruits, not as club shaped as those of Opuntia ficus-indica that we saw before. This one also has magenta insides, very colorful on the inside of the fruit, and is also a delicious fruit. We saw Hesperaloe parviflora with its red flowers, pollinated by hummingbirds, and this is a very different Hesperaloe. It has white flowers, the petals open widely, and it's pollinated by moths. Since moths are active in the evening and it's dim at that time, then the white flowers help it to show up and the moth can find it. It has a very tall flower stalk and also lasts for a very long time. This species is native to Sonora in northwestern Mexico. This South American tree is named Ceiba speciosa, or the old name Coricia speciosa, and it is in the Malvaceae or hibiscus family, and it always surprises people to come here in the fall months and see this tree just full of pink flowers, very large, almost orchid-like pink flowers, at a season when most other trees aren't blooming. That's the season that it always flowers at, and it is a fixture of fall color in the garden. These hundreds and hundreds of pink flowers in September, October, November. Here's another aloe that's blooming in September. This one is Aloe cryptopoda. It occurs in several countries in southern Africa, Botswana, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. We have different forms of it. Some that bloom in the winter, spring, but this one obviously is coming to bloom in September. It's a very large form of cryptopoda, and you notice the flowers are tubular like many aloe flowers, and they lighten as they open. So the lower flowers that have already gone by are more yellow than the buds are. The name cryptopoda means hidden foot, and it refers to the way the green bracts cover the base of the flower, hiding the flower base. Grevillea is a group of shrubs and some trees too from Australia in the Protea family. There are many hundreds of species and cultivars available. This is a relatively new one, King's Fire, but it has done so well for us at the Bancroft, we just can't believe it just never stops blooming. So we have it on What's in Bloom quite a lot as a result. It's very popular also with the bees, and if you stand here and watch for a little while, you will see bees visiting the flowers. In this garden, we have lots of things that don't make it on What's in Bloom for one reason or another, usually because they don't last for long enough, or they straddle 2 months or whatever. We've got lots of things in the amaryllis family, and one of them is this beautiful plant, Rhodophylla bifida from Argentina. It really looks very much like the Florus amaryllis if you look at the flower, but on a smaller scale, and it does flower this time of the year. It's got a very unusual growth habit for a bulb from Argentina because it grows as though it was from a winter rainfall area, with the plant staying dormant over the summertime and then flowering and leafing out in the fall, just like bulbs from winter rainfall climates do. We don't know why it behaves this way, but we're more than happy to have those beautiful red flowers in the garden. So just another example of one of the wonderful things we have growing at the Bancroft Garden. There's always something new to see, and we encourage you to come visit the garden and see for yourself.